Tom, before we go to the phones, I want to ask you a few things. What is your opinion of homeschooling?
I haven't looked into it enough.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some material suggesting that they're doing better than the other schools are doing. Although in terms of the other schools in the low-income minority neighborhoods, that may not mean much.
Mm-hmm. I want to test a theory I have out on you. I was thinking about the teachers I had when I was in elementary school and how exacting they were. One time I saw a film, a Western, and it was a comedy, and he said, some character in the film said, "That don't look none too good." So the next day at school I said that, repeating the line, and my teacher said, "Excuse me, Larry, you mean it doesn't look any too well?" And I was just joking, but that's how they were. And my theory is this: because of sexism, a lot of women who otherwise would have been doctors and lawyers and investment advisors were teachers, school teachers.
Uh-huh.
And therefore, we benefited from the either unwillingness to go into other professions or the fact that they were discouraged from going into other professions. And as a result, we had a whole army of qualified, really smart women who were teaching, doing nursing. And in today's world, they'd be doing other things, like, as I said, some of these other things in high finance, in academia, doctors, lawyers.
I've never tested that empirically, but it was something worth testing.
Not that you don't have enough on your plate already, Tom. Tom, how does it feel to be 90?
Oh, it feels remarkably similar to being 89.
Same thing my dad said when he turned 90. I asked him the same thing. He said the same way I felt yesterday.
Oh, my.
I am going to go to the phones, Tom, but first I want to tell you one more story because you remind me so much of my father. I've told you that before. My dad and I were watching television, and we were watching some newscast about Elizabeth Taylor's 8th divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned to my dad and I said, "Dad, what do you think of that?" He said, "What do I think of what?" I said, "What do you think about the fact that Liz Taylor has been married and divorced 8 times?" He said, "I don't think anything about it." I said, "You don't have an opinion?" He said, "Larry, it ain't worth the energy to come up with one." Kathleen is in Los Angeles. Kathleen, you're on with Thomas Sowell and Larry.
Great. Can you hear me okay?
Hear you fine.
Kathleen?
Hear you fine, Kathleen.
Great. Thank you so much for taking my call. I am the parent of 2 students in the LAUSD school system. And ever since March through the end of the year, they had to school from home due to COVID restrictions and school closures. So they'd have to use the internet and computers working from home. It was a challenging environment. They got through it, but it was definitely hard, difficult. So my question to you is, I'm reading something right now on the Black Lives Matter LA website, and I want to get your take or your opinion on it. If I can just read to you what they said, and it's in regard to LAUSD having to school kids from home. So here's what they're saying. They're saying, when we fight, we win. No LAUSD student will get an F on spring report cards. In conjunction with Students Deserve, Black Lives Matter LA successfully lobbied the LAUSD board to make sure that no student in the district will receive a failing grade on spring report cards, given the challenges of distance learning, the unequal access to technology and high-speed internet service, and other stressful factors around the COVID-19 pandemic that gripped the nation in the spring of 2020. So do you think that's a good idea, that no matter what, you won't get an F? Thanks for your opinion.
I got a feeling I know how he's going to answer.
Oh, my gosh. I cannot imagine anything more irresponsible. And this is what comes from this double standard kind of thing. You're going to get make-believe education because you're getting a grade that means nothing because it didn't require anything. I'm very discouraged when I see so many kids going so to such extremes, celebrating graduating from high school. And particularly in high school, in areas where graduation from high school doesn't mean you learned anything.
Mm-hmm. Thomas Sowell is my guest. Tom, please don't go away. The book is called Charter Schools and Their Enemies, and he's going to be with us until the top of the hour. Raphael has a question. He wants to know why conservative is deemed to be a white term. A lot of people, Tom, are calling to wish you happy birthday. And Josh in Decatur wants to know whether or not more money will fix the schools. So please do not leave town. 888-971-SAGE. Also, a white Black Lives Matter activist assaulted a black man who was unhappy because he lived in the neighborhood where the white Black Lives Matter activist was putting up flyers about Black Lives Matter. So the resident in the area is tearing down the flyers, and he's confronted by a white Black Lives Matter activist, and we're going to play you their exchange in just a second.